playing an absolute blinder today. Forgot to plug the mic back in. I forgot to turn the bot on. Go me. Alright, where were we? Should look a lot better with that coat on. Let's get the coat on the underside. Make that splotch go away. Mind if it's a little darker on the underside, because that just makes sense. Mic working now? Yeah, mic seems to be working now. That's good. That's good. Alright. So, let's take a look at these areas that I need to clean. Out the detailing brush. There we go. Alright. Click out parts of this. Other side. That is tied in. I noticed while inspecting earlier there were a few parts where the undercoat was still showing through that I had missed. And we just can't have that. That. You over here. Yeah. Perfect. Take now. Mix that with some mummy ropes. So just highlight up. Alright, there we go. Mix that together. We're going to use this to highlight the edges of the tablet. Light there. You can see it. Mix some more brown in there. Alright, let's take our liner brush. That's not the right brush at all. nice bright edge on that now to make that really stand out. Good. All right, and we're going to do the same type of thing with the scabbard of the sword. That one I'm going to do just an angel green. It's a very dark one. Don't need to be quite as precise on this one. With our detail brush, let's start working on some of this gold. Hey Vangemma, how's it going? Alright, let's take, we don't want the liner brush. Here it is. Regular fine detail brush. Oh, I got it. Here, let me... There we go. Let me try that. I'm trying to adjust to where you can hear the music to where it's worth playing, but not drowning me out, because I don't know how audio levels work. Let me know how that one goes. Needs to be made... Okay, excellent. Yes. High five. So let's get back to what we're doing. We're picking out now the top of the hilt. Oop. Switch back over there. There we go. Pick out. There we go. And then we're going to go back over to the hat. Pick out the detailing here. Get this nice hat pin done. And then pick out the buttons the same way. Thank you. Yeah, I'm quite happy with how he's started to turn out. Back. The back button being the quite little button. Oh, there it is. First, take some sepia wash. And I want this to go into just the recesses on the bag, because this bag has these little creases that aren't standing out very well right now. So I'm going to give just a heavy wash in there to make those really stand out. Whatever he has in his little bag, probably some dog treats. There we go. something as much about it. No, it's fine. I appreciate it. Here, let me. I'm gonna just lower that volume. What I need to do, I think, is get a headset or some earbuds for this, because the problem is it's so low that I'm trying to get it to where I can hear it, but it's not drowning out. So let me know how that level is. Excellent. It doesn't help that I'm still trying to adjust to using the laptop for the streaming of the mini painting, so like the levels on this are totally different than on my desktop. So check out the colors. Yeah, we definitely. I mean, the mic, the me talking is obviously the more important thing. So I definitely want that to be. Yeah, that's the idea. It's supposed to be all soothing and relaxing. Yeah, water that down just a bit more. Yeah, the problem is, like, I love Pretzel as service, the music player that I'm using. The problem with it is it's the nice part about it is it's all like cleared for streaming. It's like you're not going to get like copyright dings or anything on any of it. The downside is you don't get any control over what plays. So there's no. Yeah, that's why I use this service. It's fantastic for that. Right. Exactly, yeah. Because there's been a lot of stuff going on lately with copyright claims against people who are streaming games, to where like certain sections of their VODs are getting just muted. Okay, good. Bot's working. Excellent. I was a little concerned about that because you haven't got off yet. I don't want the videos to get muted. So, especially because as I learned this morning through a WhatsApp conversation, I did not realize, but it seems that my mum actually goes back and watches these videos after I post them on Instagram, which is just, yeah, she mentioned this morning in a WhatsApp message, and I had no idea. So if she's watching this one back, hi Mum. And that was incredibly sweet and heartwarming. And I sincerely hope she just watches these ones and not like the Bloodborne playthroughs, because that would be very different. Do not think that would be her speed. Yeah, that's what I was just saying. Yeah, I sincerely hope she does not watch those. But those were a little bloodier and a lot swearier. Yeah, I think after I'm done with Bloodborne, I think I need to find something a little more chill, a little more light-hearted, maybe a little slower paced. That wash just did not really take. Get a little heavier with it. Where's my normal oil? Yeah, I'm thinking of going Disgaea next after I'm done with Bloodborne. I love this diet. It's been a long time since I played that. Some levels and figurines. And maybe at some point, I mean, with everything being the way it is, it's going to be a while before I'm able to go back and visit again. So maybe that's what I should do next time for like Christmas or whatnot. Paint up some minis and send them for gifts. That could be a fun thing to do. Because yeah, that's gonna be a while. Coming along, I'm putting off doing the hair because I don't want to do it. But I think I'm coming down to the point where that's really all I have left to do. So, but I want to build up this feather. So we're going to go with a nice bright pure red. And let's get some highlighting on the feather going. Brush to go. I will bear that in mind. I will let you know when I want to start doing those. I do have the goal, I think I've mentioned before, of starting to do this as a commission thing. And I'm getting to the point now, I think, where speed-wise, I would be okay doing it. I want to get there. I want to get a little bit of skill-wise first. I'm not quite where I would want to be for that. Like, I don't feel comfortable charging anyone as of just yet. Although, what I should do, what I'm thinking of doing, is let's lighten this up just a bit for the final highlight, because I'm on my march to get towards affiliate, and as you can see right up here, we're at 30 out of 50 so far. I may do some kind of a giveaway of a mini to kind of get some incentive around that. Like, hey, when I hit 50, I'll do a mini giveaway. So come hang out and we'll do that. With the hope that people come and do that and then stick around afterwards, because I'm obviously so charming. There we go. Alright, that feather's coming along quite nicely. I'm quite happy with that. Alright, so take where my lineup brush go, here it is. So let's start out, we've got some of this wash still over here. So I want to start lining out the mouth. First of all. I think I need a little more on there. More. There's that one. There we go. Take my Nuln oil. A little heavier, but not too much. the mouth standing out a bit more now. We can do the same thing up here on the hat pin, just to make the bone stand out a bit more. There we go. Same along the hairline. Looking good. Looking good. Alright, in view. Alright, so let's start doing something about these ears. So we're going to start by giving them another wash of Nuln oil. Just to get nice and deep, because these are black ears. So let's get nice and deep into those recesses. That's drying, let's go back to our mummy robes and let's start building up the face a little bit. So again, we want it to be nice and thin. Let's pick out the snout here. The paw. Some of the tail and the legs in the back too. There we go. Groovy. Neaten up some of these lines a little bit. Whilst we're at this, let's take some just straight up matte black and let's get some eyes going. This is again, let's make sure we use the right brush for the task. So spot, liner, flat, spot. Oop, yeah, go. T is very important. Go get that made. There we go. Yes, that worked actually. It's amazing how much easier this is now that I'm trying to pay a little more attention to which brush I use for which task. Go figure. So let's take a quick breather and let me switch up to my... Where's my camera controls gone? Oh right, I had to restart, so I lost my camera control. Let me... Actually, is it still... Not sure if it's back on Zoom or not. Let me... Properties... Come on. Oh, damn you, I'm right-clicking you. Why are you not doing the thing? There we go. Properties. There we are. Configure video. Alright, piss off. There we go. Alright, let's... See if we can bring our zoom up. Or our focus up, rather. There we are. So the eyes is... Not sure how this focus works, but zoom that back out. Focus back out. The eyes actually stand out, which is quite nice. I wasn't sure if that was going to work, but it seems to have, so that's good. Turn the light back on. Actually, let me try that. Try focusing back in with the light. Now that's better. That's a lot better. So we can see how that wash has now. You can see the part on the pin where there's a little bit of a fold there. The mouth is picked out quite nicely. Although we've still got a bit of the mouth to tidy up. So let's go ahead and do that now. There we go. Alright, so yeah, let's do that now. So, going to do here for just a minute is I'm going to break out a tool I haven't used in a very long time that's been sitting here this whole time that I haven't been using at all, which is my little magnifying glass. I'm actually curious as to how this is going to work on stream, so let's find out. These rather desperate need of a clean. Adjusted. All right. That's really looking. Okay, I'm curious if I can show on camera how this works. Yeah, the light reflection isn't going to make it, and the fact that it's horrendously dirty. But you can see on camera how this is great for checking in on the little tiny details, which is what I'm doing just now. Of course, the problem is as you magnify in on it, you can see all the little mistakes that you've made that don't show up when you're not using a magnifying glass. So it can be a little humbling, but it's still a very, very useful tool. and is letting me know that I think for this one it's good enough. Because once again, I'm still learning, I'm still practicing. Okay, so let's go back to these ears and let's start doing a bit of a build up. So we're going to take some dark stone. We're going to mix in some Necromancer's Cloak because that's not quite dark enough, but I don't want it to be too much lighter than that. So that looks pretty good. Alright, let's just dry brush some of this onto the ears and see how this works out. Yep, tea! Go get your tea. Critically important. Back here. With some straight up Necromancer's Cloak. This one. I'm not going to water this down quite as much. Just a little. We're just going to pick out some of the thicker strands. So that they stand out along the edges of these ears. There we go. Then we're going to go back to that spot brush, which was which one? I need to organise these desperately. Not one. It's still out. No, it's still out. That's my liner. Round. No, you go back in. Round. Zero round. Zero round. Zero flat. Zero spot. This is the one. Alright. Let's bust out some matte white. I'm going to try just very carefully to get just a little dot of white in the eye. Just for that little bit of a highlight. Let's get that down to a finer point. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I'm not usually a fan of Lipton either. But it's good to know. Yeah, I like to do. I like loose leaf. But if I'm doing bagged stuff, not much. We just got a little white dot in the eye, which I don't know if it's going to show up too well. But just tried to get a little highlight in there. It didn't quite work as well as I had hoped, but we're going to just run with it. Because if I try to, it's at a point where I know if I try to do anything more with that, I'm just going to screw it up and make it not as good as it did get. So yeah, I'm very fortunate that I have a little Japanese grocery store that's just a couple of blocks from my apartment. So I get green tea and matcha from there. And if not, then my usual go-to is PG Tips. Or Yorkshire tea, if I can find somewhere that sells it. Pull up over here a reference picture of for myself, because there's one more thing that this needs. Gotta scroll back through my camera. Photo, because I realised I actually have a photo of this dog. I just have to find it in my camera roll. There we go. Found it. So, this is the dog we're basing this on. As you can see, it's not quite the right breed, but this is a more accurate picture of said dog. Just a blur. But so what I want to do to get a closer rendition, as you can see, there's little black splotches on the snout. So we're going to add some of those now too. So let's just add some of those in. Parts of the white. Just enough to make sure that it looks intentional. There we go. Some of those face splotches now. Yeah. She's a very, very pretty dog. Very high energy. Very high energy. All right. Take some of that black again, and around the edges of the base we go. moment. Let's do that. Let's prepare. Okay. It's starting to come up around the edges. Excellent. Alright, let's pop you up there for just a moment. No. Bring back out the modeling flock in preparation. And sit back with a cup of tea for a moment. Got some nice Japanese green tea going. There we go. All right, let's take a quick look around. Make sure that David's tea, nice. Although I admit, since work from home became a thing, my caffeine intake has, my coffee intake especially, has spiked significantly. And I am thoroughly addicted lately to this company called Found Familiar, which does like D&D themed coffee blends. Their stuff is amazing. Holy crap, it's so good. And they recently started doing subscriptions, so I'm now on that to where I'm just getting like some bags of their coffee delivered every month. And honestly, expense wise, it's no more expensive than regular, at least not for well, I say it's not more expensive. In the context of New York City, it is not more expensive than any of the regular like grocery store coffee beans or even the pre-grounds that I've seen. I'm sure it's like, you know, I'm not comparing it to shit like Maxwell House. I'm comparing it to the local blends. Basing in. Then, where's my all the way over there. Let's just go with the rocks then. Focus all the way out so you can see what I'm doing for this part. So we're gonna just get a nice dollop of glue. Just spread that on here. And let's press in some of these rocks. Go. Let those dry real quick. And just grab my tufts. Multiple. No, this. So, what I was using for the longest time, or not the longest time, what I was using for a little bit when I picked back up these painting streams, was I was using this stuff, Flex Bond. Flex Bond is expensive, I was using it because it's what I had. Didn't want to keep using it for very long because Flex Bond is expensive. This is the stuff that I used to make the Caduceus armor. This is the stuff that holds it in place and it protects it really, really well. But when stores started reopening and I was able to go to CVS, this is just straight up school glue. That's all this is. It's just straight up $2, literally a $2 thing of school glue. That's all it is. That's all you need. So I went by when CVS reopened. I got like 3 of them. So that's gonna cover me for a good long time. Take some of that. Just come back here, bastard. Put that on there. There we go. But no, Mod Podge is great too. I haven't tried using that one because I did some research into what was the best thing to use for the armor, and from what I had seen, the Flex Bond holds, it doesn't crease like at all. Like you can just ball it up and get back into shape and it won't have creased up. Mod Podge is good for that too, but the Flex Bond seemed to be slightly better, so that's just what I went with. But there's actually I found a cosplay supply store here in NYC that sold it, so I just went by and got that at some point. But now, let's change our focus back, because our boy is done. I do like how the experiment of the purple and the red and the feather turned out. We have our Cavalier is done. So you can hop up there and join the rest of the puppers. Let's just clean. Just going to take a moment just to clean and organize the workspace before we move on to the next one. Yep, go for it. Go right ahead. Take all the breaks you need. I am doing the same to just organize a little bit. In there with you. I don't need a texture tool right now, so that can go back over here. Not there because that hole's too small. Hey. And over there. Yeah, you two are the brushes I'm going to use right now. Okay. Good. Alright. Let's bring back the wet palette. We're going to need that. Let's start prepping the next pupper, who I already had sitting over here ready to go. Just check some reference pics on this one before I get started. Thanks. All right. I do that. Just because I want these things out of my painting area. Maybe they just knock out something here real quick. I have these little, I think the watcher. I think these are these gazers or watchers. I forget. The little tiny eyeballs. We're gonna just real quick knock these out, just to get them away, because they've been sitting here on my painting area this whole time. I just want them gone. So we're just going to knock these out super quick. Because these are not going to take much. One. Final boss, Alpha Squad. Nice. Green on there. Skeleton bone. Just a quick, unscheduled, impromptu detour from Doggos to just knock out a couple of things that have been sitting on my desk half finished and they're annoying me. Just ones that I just want to paint to a low tabletop quality, because let's be honest, it's going to be a long time before I DM with minis again. Make myself that. These in anticipation of a combat encounter back before lockdown hit. And the combat encounter happened. A alas, these will have to be for a future time. Yeah, we're just taking a quick break just to knock out a couple of things that have just been sitting on my desk for a bit. So just knocking these out real fast. Yeah. This is a... I haven't really done much. I just wanted to pick out... I've just finished with the dotting the eyes and just picked out a little bit of the bone protrusions a little better. These guys were done from scratch just now, but they're so tiny they don't really take a lot. And so I just wanted to... just as a quick, almost palette cleanser. On to the next doggo. It's not quite drying there yet. Set this off to the side for now. All right. Let's get started with our next doggo. This is one that I've been putting off for a little bit. I wanted to get, we've been getting gradually smaller and smaller and smaller with the doggos. But this is one that I've been wanting to do because it's an extremely popular type of doggo, and it's finally time to knock this one out, because let me adjust the camera focus so you can see it better. It's corgi time. Corgi colorations, what we're going to do is because the colors are going to be very similar, we're going to take some of the lessons that we learned from doing Kyros and the Shiba Inu and use that same type of fur blending just at a much smaller scale on the corgi. So to start with, we're going to do the fur in the same desert yellow that we used for Kyros, because I still like how that coloration turned out. I think that'll be a good base for we're going to build it up slightly differently. To where Kyros we built it up to more towards kind of the sandy yellow. The corgi we're going to take in more of an orange direction. And so what I want to do is we're going to do all of the fur in that same one, and we're going to build that up to kind of the orange, and then we're going to build up further from that. I want to do kind of a white face and chest and the paws. So we're going to do the whole thing get that build up there, and then we're gonna build the. Then we're gonna do like blend the white into that, kind of like what we did with Kiros. But let's get started with just the base tones. So let's water this down some. Similarly, the tail I'm going to do very white, but I want to at least, I want to do a solid base tone of the yellow, and then that will serve as our jumping off point for everything else that we do. This is primarily because what I find works for me is if I get all of the base tones done first, I find it much easier to envision where the mini is going to go. So I like getting all the base tones in first, and then going from there, which is very common. But I know some painters like to do it like segment by segment, or they'll do all of a particular color and build and highlight that up like section by section. But for me, this is the way that works for me. Nice and watered down. That's starting to look pretty good for the fur for the most part. Double check my reference photos. So now we have some coloration choices to make. This guy's a warlock. And so I want to do his armor next. Because that will then better inform how I build up the detailing. So, the question then becomes, what color? When I think warlock, I think reds and purples. We just did a couple of minis that were very blue themed. The question then is, do I want to do red or do I want to do purple? Decisions. Because comparing to what I've done on the other minis, we've got a couple. I've gone pretty red heavy on some of the other minis thus far. So let's. Yeah, I don't want to do yellow. And the reason I don't want to do yellow is going to be too close to the fur color. So I want something that stands out against the fur. It's a good suggestion, but it's going from a distance. If I do yellow, it's going to basically make it one blob. I'm leaning towards purple because we can see with Kyros we got the red, which was nice, and so this Kyros really demonstrates my point. You can see how the red is from a distance nice and striking against the coloration on the fur. But we've already got, like, this guy has already been very heavily red based, and also like back with Cornelius, his wizard hat is red too, whereas I do have some purple. And now that I look back again, I really like how the purple on the Mastiff turned out. So yeah, I think, yeah, look at how well that strikes against that white shirt as well. Yeah, I think we're gonna do purple. Purple is what we're going with. So let's base this with some alien purple. That nice and watered down. Purple is always a solid choice. Plus, I mean, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but to me, purple sounds like a very warlock color. Or Korglock, I guess. Running resistance to going towards purple. See, that's interesting. I wonder if it's, so you say like streaming especially, I wonder if that's something to do with the fact that Twitch is like the name in streaming, and Twitch's branding is all very heavily purple. So I wonder if that's an indication that purple has just kind of become the streaming color. I'm sure there is. like color theory is fascinating, but something I don't understand at all. I probably should. Given the stuff I'm doing right now, but I don't. Oh, welcome back. Oh no, I made his head purple by mistake. Red and blue have been heavily used before. Blue is coming. Yeah, I've definitely heard about the blue being calming and red being the more like aggro power choice. That I've heard. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Yes, but yeah, relaxing and also energetic. Yeah, no, that makes a great deal of sense. Hadn't really thought about that before, but no, that... Yeah. You can now design logos. I mean, the only logo I've ever designed is the one on this channel, and that was just me finding some various free vector art and mashing it together into a way that worked. Thank you. I'm glad you think so. It was very much a this works. This is a paintbrush skull. Mash them together. It's fine. It'll all work. It's great. I appreciate that. Yeah, no, I agree. The concept is solid. I'm very happy. I love the concept of the paintbrush Jolly Roger. I think that's solid branding. I do just wish I'd come up with the branding sooner, because now all of my various social medias are wildly inconsistent. Well, I say wildly. Wildly is an exaggeration. But there's a mess of underscores in some of them, and that's frustrating. I probably should have slowed my roll on it too, because it's like, okay, we're going to go with the painting pirate. It's like, oh, but that's too long for certain ones. Okay, fine, we'll just go with painting pirate. It's like, oh, that's painting pirate is taken. So painting underscore pirate, sure, we'll go with that. I don't even remember which media is which at this point. Gotta memorize that shit. Alright, just making sure we've got all of the little nooks and crannies. Not that it's massively significant because we're gonna wash this later on, but there we go, that's coming along. So we got the purple coat, and yeah, I'm happy with that. See, that's contrasting nicely against the fur. So I'm happy with it. All right, let's start picking out some of these other bits. Let's do the leather straps next. So let's take some leather brown. We're starting to get a bit more into detail, so let's go into the fancy brushes. Flat. There you'll do. Okay. Once again, get it nice and watered down. Picking out those leather straps. Piece there. There we go. Yeah, I this time I remembered to fix my color, my white balance. So this is actually the right. It's going to be a little. It's probably going to come out a little darker than this, but I'm going to highlight it back up to this. So yeah, this is. I agree. I also like it. This kind of more like lilac-y. It wasn't what I had in mind. I was anticipating it being a little darker, but you know, I'm kind of into it. Okay. Now comes the tricky part, getting the leather strap that goes underneath the belly. Which is extremely difficult, given how low to the ground our little corgo is. There we go. So we don't have any of the undercoat showing through. Alright. Now let's take... We are going to use the contrast for the pouches. Alright. So we got 2 pouches. The other. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing for his little leg wraps up front. Another leather strap underneath I missed. So let's get that going here. There we go. Excellent. Starting to realize the downside with my my location here is with the AC blowing right at me, which is very nice because of the heat, but it is starting to, it's actually drying out my wet palette a little, so that's fine. I'll just have to wet it a little more before I start in future. Alright, that's fine. Clasps, we've got a little collar. I'm going to use some, let's just give this a line of wildwood contrast for the collar. Let's get that going there. Get that down to a bit more of a point. Let's pick out the collar here. Off some of that because we went a little too high with it. Let's just touch that up with some. Actually, we'll have to let that dry first. That's okay. back up later. Once that dries, let's take some metal. Let's start picking out some of these clasps. Ring ones in the back. Another ring one over here. Got a little charm over here, so let's get that with some silver as well. There we go. We already got some bone ready, so let's take our bleached bone. And we'll pick out. He's got a little skull charm right here. And there's a fang hanging around the neck. So let's get that picked out as well. And we're going to use that same bone as well to base the scroll in the back. The scroll is right here. I'll hold it. I'll bring it up a little closer in just a moment. Once I pick it out, it'll hopefully be a little easier to see. Yep. There's a lot of little details on this mini that are only going to become apparent once I have the base tones on. Dried enough to where I can fix my cock up from earlier. Just pick out. Then take some mummy robes. This is a very cute one, I agree. I mean, Kyros is just the Kyros one was just majestic, even with the floppy out tongue. And I think the other contender I would argue. Too watered down. Would be the Sheba was really cute as well. Focus in a bit so we can see what we've got so far. Turn off the light too. That helps a bit. Let's focus in a bit more. Yeah, so you can't tell a lot because it's not shaded yet, but the base tones are in. Start to see some of those extra details are starting to stand out a bit. We're getting there. We're making some progress. Turn the light back on. Alright. I think what I want to do next is, let's get this brush put back. I'm going to take, we're going to follow the same strategy we did with Kiros. I want to put a shade on the fur, because once I get a shade on there, the face details are going to pop out a little more. Oh, no worries, I'm wrapping up soon anyway, but thank you for sticking around. I appreciate the company, as always. I hope your dinner is entirely fabulous. As always, I will post the progress picture and the finished previous mini on Instagram and Twitter later on. I love me some sweet potatoes. I've very much gotten into the habit of making oven roasted sweet potato wedges, because sweet potatoes are amazing. Excellent. Especially if you throw a little cayenne pepper in, toss them in that before you throw them in the oven. Beautiful. Nice. Yeah, let me know how that goes. Yeah, I'm just gonna get this shading done, and then we're gonna wrap up the stream for the night too. So. Have a good one. Getting around these eyes. Such a cute facial expression. I really want to make that pop out. Let's come in there. That done. Serious? There is a straight up fireworks display going on outside. I don't know if the mic is picking that up, but there is. I mean, it's pretty, but it looks. I mean, that's got to be. That's got to be organised. There's way too many fireworks for that to not be. I'm going to try and find out about this. an entire fireworks display kicking off. Way too many for that not to be scheduled, especially right over Manhattan. That's... All right, back to work. Bust out the Drukai Violet. Alright, we're gonna just do a little bit of shading on this, and I gotta keep an eye on these fireworks now because Kiros does not care for them. Usually. He's doing okay right now. Go. Starting to stand out a little more. I think for that initial one, we're going to call that good for right now. The face hasn't quite started to come out yet, but as I build up the white, that should start bringing it out more. So yeah, we're going to call it here so I can go and babysit my dog through impromptu fireworks. So thank you to those in chat. Thank you for anyone out there lurking. You are appreciated as well. Yeah, my next scheduled stream, I'll be back on Friday for more Bloodborne. I may do some impromptu streams throughout the week. We'll see how it goes, see what I feel like. But either way, I will definitely be back on Friday. So, thank you. Stay safe. Have a great week. Capping off deck.